High school dropouts shouldn't live in skyscrapers, but get out. Looking down on me because I only completed middle school. This Momfriend is trying to kick me out from my home. But should you say that? We're the ones who are gonna leave. I couldn't believe it. We just got married, and I never expected things to take such a turn. But you should own up to what you say, right? I'm Catherine, 39 years old. I live with my high school son, middle school daughter, and my husband who runs a business. I'm what you would call a CEO's wife. But even so, my husband and I faced many hardships when we were young. Because I dropped out of high school, my job opportunities were limited. I often faced comments like, "You didn't even finish high school" during interviews, and it was tough. My husband, who finished high school but not college, often struggled to fit in at work. He was frequently badmouthed behind his back, and it used to make him cry from frustration. Despite our tough challenges, we've achieved what we have today because of our hard work. That's why I volunteer to support those who are going through hard times. I mainly volunteer at welfare facilities and places related to children. And today, as usual, while I was volunteering, a person approached me. Curious, I turned towards the voice. "You clean up here around this time every day, right?" said the woman. I don't volunteer for the praise, but realizing that someone noticed my efforts made me incredibly happy. "Yes," I replied with a smile. "Seeing your elegant presence every morning lifts my spirits. Please keep up the good work." And then she left. From that day, I started chatting with this woman, Sarah. Sarah is a single mother. She works hard every day to raise her elementary school-aged daughter. My ex-husband cheated on me when our daughter was only 6 months old, and he's refusing to pay child support. What a terrible ex-husband. I have kids too. I think I can offer some advice as a more experienced mom, so please feel free to reach out to me if you'd like. I just blurted that out. You're so kind. Thank you. We exchanged contact information and became friends. One day, I invited Sarah over to my place. She brought her daughter along, and my middle school daughter played with her. I always thought you had an air of elegance about you, but I never expected you to live in a penthouse. Sarah looked completely surprised. I knew it, but the world you live in is so different from mine. Catherine, you're not only wealthy, but also a beautiful-hearted woman who volunteers. Sarah seemed a bit down after our conversation. After saying this, I shared my past struggles with her. Hearing this, Sarah looked genuinely surprised. Now I suddenly feel much closer to you. Hearing Sarah's cheerful response, I felt relieved. Plus, I dropped out of high school, and my husband just graduated from high school. We've had our share of challenges. When I mentioned that, Sarah was truly astonished. "Why did you drop out of high school?" I answered Sarah's question. "My father passed away early. We were quite poor. But I had a younger sister and brother, so I started working at local stores like the grocery and liquor stores instead of continuing high school." As I shared my past, Sarah looked astounded. Even I graduated from college. I always thought high school and college were a given. I can't believe Catherine, the wife of a CEO, didn't even finish high school, and that her husband only has a high school degree. Sarah just couldn't wrap her head around it. We're also a single-parent household. I had to make sure my child doesn't end up like Catherine. I understood what she meant. However, I thought she shouldn't have said that in front of me. I tried to change the topic by talking about our children. The conversation eventually shifted, and before we knew it, it was evening. I've been so mentally drained with work, parenting, and chores. This was a refreshing break. Sarah and her daughter left. Despite the awkward moment, I genuinely want to maintain my relationship with Sarah. As I was tidying up, my son and husband came back home. Another day comes to an end. I thought, savoring the mundane routine, when suddenly, "Hey, have you seen my pencil?" And I thought, savoring the mundane routine, when suddenly, "Hey, have you seen my pencil?" And I can't find my new notebook either. My eldest son started making a fuss about his missing stationery. Simply, make sure you take care of your things. While I was busy preparing dinner, I didn't really pay much attention to my son's story about losing something. Now, I deeply regret not listening more carefully to my son's missing stuff story back then. One day, while I was volunteering as usual, I bumped into Sarah, who seemed to be on her way to work, and we exchanged greetings. Then Sarah said, "Could you make some time for me soon? And I have something important to discuss with you." "Of course," I replied, and waved her off. But I couldn't help but wonder, what's this important thing she wants to discuss? I kept thinking about Sarah throughout my volunteer work that day. Onsen on Sarah's day off. Come on, let's study over here. My daughter beckons Sarah's little girl into her room. She really feels like a little sister to her. Sarah smiles as she watches the girls. I wonder if she's ready to become a big sister. Although Sarah's eyebrows are slightly furrowed, her overall expression is bright. Bright? That's what did she mean by becoming a big sister? Curious, I asked Sarah, eagerly, as if she had been waiting for the question Sarah began. The thing is, I am getting remarried. Really? Breachers, don't we call him? I was taken aback. I had known she had a boyfriend, but this was unexpected. So, becoming a big sister probably meant they might be expecting a child. What joyous news! Smipers, I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, Sarah. Well, thank you. And I would love for you to come to the wedding. She is inviting me to her wedding. That is such a sweet offer. Chins, I would be thrilled if your husband could attend as well. By this time, our families had become close, so Sarah probably invited my husband too. Chin, I will talk to him as soon as he gets home. That day, we were all excited talking about Sarah's upcoming wedding and her baby on the way. Then Sarah made a surprising remark. You know, my fiancé is quite well off. There's a comics, and guess where we are moving? It's right into the skyscraper here. This area is a bit on the rural side. It is the only skyscraper around here. So I will get to see you all the time now, Sarah. Imagine that, having a friend living in the same building. How could I not be thrilled? Yes, that is right. But Sarah's expression remained the same. I am sorry, I am feeling a bit nauseous from the morning sickness. May I use your restroom? With that, she headed to the bathroom. I've had 2 kids, so I know how rough morning sickness can be. Probably that is why she could not show her excitement earlier. It must be those hormones acting up. I made myself believe that Sarah's earlier lack of enthusiasm was because of pregnancy-related discomfort. There would be no other reason for Sarah not to be joyful. I was confident in the trust Sarah had in me. But she has been in the restroom for quite a while now. I hope she is okay. Feeling concerned, I started to head towards the restroom. Oh, I am sorry for taking so long. As I reached for the living room doorknob, Sarah came back. Are you all right? I approached Sarah, noticing she looked a bit pale. I am sorry for worrying you. I think I will head home now. She must have been feeling quite ill. Thanks for sharing the wedding news, even though you're not feeling well. I said my goodbyes as I saw her off. I hope Sarah finds the happiness she deserves. I genuinely wish this from the bottom of my heart. That evening, when my husband and son got home, we discussed Sarah's upcoming wedding, and both of them conveyed their blessings. It was decided that all 4 of us would attend. Reached to the on the wedding day, Mom. I can't find my favorite handkerchief. Have you seen it lately? My son has been making a fuss about missing items. Having recently finished stressful college entrance exams and starting college, he has probably let his guard down. It's because you're so messy that you tend to lose things. I remarked with a hint of exasperation, to which my son made a displeased face. Trying to soothe him, our family hopped into the car and headed to the wedding venue. But the traffic was terrible, and it seemed we were going to be late, even though we left an hour early. Looks like there was a pileup, my husband murmured. I quickly called the wedding venue to notify them about our delay. We arrived much later than expected. I can't believe we're so late. I feel terrible for Sarah. We all adore her, so with a heavy heart, we proceeded to the venue. The staff informed us that the ceremony would be over in about 10 minutes. It's best if you wait outside, they said. Well, there's nothing we can do now. There's going to be a reception afterwards, right? We'll offer our apologies there. So we decided to wait for the ceremony to end. Soon enough, guests started pouring out. Isn't that my sales director? And there's the sales manager. Why do I recognize so many faces? It turned out that a lot of attendees were from my husband's company. What on earth is going on? My family and I were puzzled by my husband's comments. Boss, is that you? It's good to see you. I had no idea you'd be here. Upon noticing my husband, several coworkers rushed over to greet him. As he was responding, my phone buzzed. It was a call from Sarah. I immediately answered, ready to apologize. I'm so sorry, Sarah. Before I could say more, Sarah, with a kind tone, said, It's okay. She continued, I'd like to see you, so I'm coming over to where you are. I've just finished changing my dress. She mentioned that she would be coming over to us. However, my husband was busy talking to his colleagues, and our kids said they were going to explore the venue for a bit. looking for Instagrammable spots. So no one was around me. It's a shame, especially since Sarah is making the effort to come over. Just as I was pondering, a voice called out, "Sorry for the wait." Sarah arrived, looking stunning in a bright red chiffon dress. I was about to compliment her when she said, chuckling, "Now I'm the winner. Took not like you. Dropouts shouldn't live in luxury apartments." Get out. Excuse me? What on earth is she talking about? I couldn't grasp what she meant right away. I can't stand the idea of someone like you, a dropout, living in the same apartment complex. We'll leave now. Sarah suddenly snapped. But come to think of it, when I mentioned before that I didn't finish high school, Sarah had shown her disgust. But I never expected such a strong reaction. Still, I pointed out, is this really the place for this kind of confrontation? Eventually, why not? She laughed sarcastically. It's my day. I can be upset wherever I want. I was taken aback by the sudden revelation, but I never realized Sarah was so self-centered. You know, I've always thought it's funny how you, a dropout, do volunteer work. So hypocritical? Who would want someone like you, a dropout, to help them out? Anyone can volunteer, but I can't understand why it's not okay to be a high school dropout. Education doesn't matter. I coldly said to Sarah, "Big deal. Some high school grad buys a skyscraper apartment, yet his wife is a high school dropout. It's weird, right? The nearby 5-story apartment seems more fitting for you guys. You should move out soon. Your presence is lowering the value of that fancy apartment." Sarah's loud, mocking laughter drew the attention of the guests attending the wedding, including my husband and kids. "Why did you even invite us to your wedding if you were going to insult us this much?" I confronted Sarah with the question that had been bothering me since she started hurling insults. "I invited you here to show everyone how ignorant you and your husband are, just a high school grad and his wife. Everyone attending today's wedding has a college degree. They all look down on you too." I was taken aback that Sarah had planned this entire humiliation. All we wanted was for our sincere congratulations to be acknowledged. It's being late to a wedding. Typical for the out-of-touch low-education couple. No matter how rich you are, you shouldn't do such things. Leave your gift and go start preparing for your move. I regretted being late, but Sarah's behavior was beyond unacceptable. Get out. And not just from this wedding hall, but from that skyscraper too. Sarah's shrill voice echoed throughout the hall. Suddenly, a man in a tuxedo appeared, stating, "We'll be the ones leaving." What are you talking about? The previously excited Sarah was now calm. "That's my company's CEO, you're insulting. What's your problem?" Apparently, many of the wedding attendees were shocked by Sarah's behavior and left the hall. Wedding attendees were employees from my husband's company because the groom was one of his employees. "Do you work at the high school grad CEO's company?" A shocked Sarah received a nod from the groom. "Oh wait, I can't believe it." Sarah was trembling. Come to think of it, I knew my husband was a CEO, but I didn't know which company he led. Why didn't you tell me anything? If I had known from the beginning, I wouldn't have been caught off guard. Now I'm getting defensive. Enough's enough. Apologize now, and let's get out of here. The groom tried to calm the upset Sarah. "I can't believe this. If I had known, I would have kept buttering them up. Darn it. My plans are ruined." Sarah threw a tantrum. Because the bride was in such a state, there was a buzz among the attendees. Suddenly, there was a sharp snap, and a dull sound echoed throughout the already resonant hallway of the wedding venue. The groom had slapped Sarah on the cheek. Sarah, caught off guard, couldn't utter a word. You disrespect the boss's family and then throw a fit like this. Get a grip. The groom was furious. "Yeah, that's right. Even if you're the bride, you can't insult the boss and his family." The husband's coworkers unanimously scolded Sarah. "Why? What did I do? What's wrong with mocking a dropout? All of you are just as dumb as this stupid family." Sarah spat out these words and stormed off. "Hey, an experience? Wait up." The groom chased after Sarah. I followed closely behind. But soon, the groom lost sight of her and looked around frantically. "I'm truly sorry." The groom, out of breath, bowed his head in apology. "You've done nothing wrong." Bites together with my husband, we tried to calm the groom down. We continued our search for Sarah. In her bright red dress and being pregnant, she couldn't have gone far. We were certain we'd find her. As we searched, we heard a groaning sound coming from a restroom. "Sarah?" I called out, and the noise stopped. "Wait, just a high school dropout. After all, it seemed Sarah hadn't learned her lesson. But there's no point in getting more upset now. Listen, truly believe that education is essential. Both my husband and I struggled because of our educational backgrounds. But if you don't have the education, you just need to work harder. When he said that, Sarah came out of the bathroom. Let's work. If you don't have an education, you're going to work hard. So, you're saying that everything will turn out fine in life. Sarah had makeup streaks running down her cheeks. Yes, in many ways, that was the case for my husband and me. And another thing, the willingness to help each other. That's crucial too. When you're in trouble, don't hesitate to talk to someone. When I gently said that, Sarah bit her lip and looked down. I mean, yes, I looked down on you for only completing a middle school education, but the real reason I wanted you to leave that luxury apartment was something else. Huh. I teared Turksy. Peeling her eyes, Sarah began to speak haltingly. Actually, from your home, I have been stealing various things. Shockingly, Sarah had been taking things from our house. Things like pencils and toilet paper, even small items like handkerchiefs. Every time she visited, she would steal something. Apparently, she always had a knack for theft, and it seemed her real reason for divorce was also related to her stealing habits. At first, I approached you, Catherine, because I thought you were an elegant and lovely woman. But when I found out about your education, I got jealous. I thought she's richer than me, so it's okay to steal just a bit. And had my words hit her nerve. Even without being asked, Sarah revealed her true feelings. Even though I was stealing, you and your husband were kind to me. I was filled with guilt. That's why I truly didn't want you to find out. When I decided to live in that luxury apartment, I wished you lived further away. So that's why. Stealing is inexcusable, as is lying and then hurling insults. I really had no intention of forgiving Sarah. But I've been through hard times myself. I've been doing volunteer work for years, wanting to help others. So I can tell when someone is really struggling. Sarah, you're struggling right now, aren't you? If you could stop your thieving habits, you would, right? I leaned in and asked Sarah, and she burst into tears. Despite everything she had done, as someone who does volunteer work, I couldn't abandon Sarah. I might seem foolish, but merely blaming someone won't help anyone. Shut up. Suddenly, Sarah muttered something. When I asked her to repeat, she yelled, I said, shut up. That's why you seem so hypocritical. Just when I thought Sarah had knocked me down, a sharp pain shot through my face. I'm so freaking mad. Normally, when someone realizes their stuff has been stolen, they get mad, right? But what's with you? You're so damn creepy. Sarah cried out in tears. Sarah's tears dropped onto my face. This is all messed up because of you. My wedding, my life. If I had never met someone like you, if I hadn't met a dropout like you, Sarah continued her rage without trying to stop herself. Stop it. Finally, I managed to grab both of Sarah's wrists and stop her. Enough. Always blaming others like that. I get it. Being pregnant can mess up your hormone balance and make you easily upset or teary-eyed. But this is way over the top. I finally lost my patience. That's why things come back to bite you, because you hurt others without a second thought. Don't you get it yet? But... Sarah seemed like she wanted to say something, but couldn't find the words. Suddenly, security personnel entered the room. It seems they had already heard about Sarah's outburst. She was quickly escorted out, and to my surprise, the police were waiting for Sarah. Sarah was arrested. I didn't think Sarah would be like this. Let's divorce. Just as Sarah was about to be taken away in the police car, the groom, now her ex-husband, said to her, Damn it, Lexat. This is the worst. Arch, you've got to be kidding me. Rejected by her groom, Sarah's desolate scream echoed. A few days later, it seemed Sarah's detention was suspended due to her pregnancy. By the way, their daughter is now staying with Sarah's parents. Sometimes the daughter comes to visit and chats about various things. I don't even think of her as my mom. Despite being just a child, she seems to have a strong aversion to Sarah. Even Sarah seems to be deeply affected, reportedly sinking into severe depression. Moreover, Sarah's parents are also so disappointed in her that they are considering cutting ties. Sarah is on the brink of being abandoned by her own family. I wish I could be as strong as Catherine. After giving birth and getting bailed out, Sarah was determined to get proper counseling. However, it's hard to trust someone who lies so effortlessly. As for me, I'm sorry. I really am. I'm deeply apologizing to my son for that incident when he was so upset that he had lost something. I had no idea that Sarah had stolen it and felt remorseful for brushing it off. I told you, I didn't just lose it. Good thing it came back though. My son's still holding a grudge. Who'd have thought Sarah was like that? My daughter was taken aback as she was close with Sarah's daughter. Sure, a high school graduate CEO? Monsieur, I've got a long way to go. Our family of 4 will likely face challenges again, but we want to come together and overcome them.